Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for watching. We are all things notary, life, journey, and education. If you are a return subscriber, hi and welcome back. In today's video, I am going to be doing a document overview of a HELOC. And a HELOC is also considered a home equity line of credit. And what that is that it is a type of second mortgage that allows homeowners to borrow money against the equity they have in their home and receive that money as a line of credit. The borrowers can use the HELOC to either do home improvements, any type of education, continued education, or they also can consolidate debt. I have my notes over here, so that's why I'm looking that way, you guys. So I decided to come on because the last time I had a loan modification, and I also had a seller's package, and I did that. So I was like, hey, why not do the HELOC and go over it, so if you guys ever get a HELOC, you know the type of documents that you're looking at. So the documents that I have for today, the package is 44 pages, and it is consisted of both legal and letter paper. Just like I did before, I'm going to go through, let you know what each document is, how I would present it to the signers, and then let you know if this is a page that has to be notarized or not. So let's go. First of all, of course, when I get to the signing, I contact my signers and let them know that I'm outside. So whenever they're ready, they can let me know to come on in. Once I'm inside, I take out all of my belongings, which includes their packet, because of course, my instructions say to leave one packet with the signers. As you know, I've stated in other videos that will also leave my business card in that package as well for them for future use if they need me. I'll then go ahead and take their form of identification. Now this HELOC was different because on the Patriot Act and in the instructions that I was provided, they wanted two forms of identification from the signers. So my signers today had their passport and they also had their driver's license. Those were their two forms of identification. At the making of this video, I have already completed the HELOC, but I thought that I would come back and go over the documents with you guys. So I got there, verified their identity, got their two forms of identification, did my oath, input that information into my journal. Then we got into the documents, which I'm going to go over with you all. Of course, I won't be showing you guys the documents because there is PII on it, or personal information, and I'm not going to lose my commission or go to jail for anybody. So, the first two sheets here are all of my instructions. It tells me how they want me to complete it, that they want me to use blue ink, that I need two forms of identification from the signers. And then on the last page, which I have seen a lot more of signing services doing, is saying, hey, do you understand and adhere to the information that you just read in these instructions? Then of course I have to sign it and I have to date it saying that yes, I understand all of the instructions and that yes, I will follow those instructions based off of what's listed on the documents. The second page is, the next page is basically their COVID-19 guidelines, telling me, use social distances, wear a mask, make sure, to use sanitizer before, after, pens, anything else that's used. The next document basically is just telling me that if I'm in an attorney state and I'm not an attorney, please stop and call this number because I'm not able to complete this signing. I'm in Florida, so this would be non-applicable for me, so we can just move on. Next, we have our shipping label. This was being sent out via UPS. So this is the shipping label that they want me to use. Next document is the privacy policy, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was 6 pages. It was 6 pages, and basically your privacy policy just goes over that they consent to the privacy policy, what they do with the information that they collect for them, what they use it, how they send it, what they use it for, who they use it with, this information here. The signers did not have to sign this. This was just for your information purposes. Next, we have the electronic closing overview. Part of this signing was done via Ron or e-sign with the signers. So they were just saying, hey, we know part of your closing was done electronically, and this was telling them, this is saying, hey, this part that was being done, this is what it was done using e-closing. This is what it used for. Next, we have another page of instructions for me, and this is specific to how I'm supposed to return the documents, how soon they're supposed to be returned, and where they're supposed to be returned to, using the shipping label that they provided me. The next 3 pages are closing instructions. Here just has your basic information about the loan. I don't need to do anything here, and neither did the signers. So we just put this to the side and move on. Next, we have your notice of right to cancel. And basically your notice of right to cancel is that once you sign the documents, you have 3 business days to think about it and ensure that this is what you want to do. After those 3 business days, if before those 3 business days are up, you decide you don't want to do this any longer, you can sign the notice of right to cancel, and we basically have to tell them, hey, you have until midnight on such and such date in order to cancel the entire transaction. After that, the transaction is considered valid. There were 3 copies for each signer. I had 2 signers, so there were 3 copies for each signer to sign. So they would sign and date those, and basically sign and date at the bottom like it's listed. And I did not have to notarize any. I don't have to notarize anything here. The next 3 pages is your note, which is basically your promise to pay. It has how much they are getting the line of credit for, who their lender is, what their interest rate is, when their first payment is due, what the maturity date of the loan is. It also states that if they wanted to mail in their payment, where they would mail in their payment to. On this document, for the first 2 sheets, both signers need to initial at the bottom right. So I would have them initial at the bottom right. And then on page 3, both of them need to sign as their name is listed on the document and date. There is nothing for me to notarize here. Next, we have the mortgage. And of course, the mortgage gives you the same information. Basically, it gives who the borrowers are, their relation to each other. It has the address of the property. It has their lender, and it has their lender's physical address and the laws of which state they're under. It also states, once again, the amount of the loan, the date the date the signing is taking place, and also the maturity date of the loan. Then at the bottom of this one, it also lists the legal description of the property, and it also lists the parcel number of the property as well, which is included in the physical description. So from here, this is 6 pages, and on all 6 pages, both signers need to initial at the bottom. And then on page 5, they have to sign the way their name is listed and date the document. And then on page 6, I will put in my venue, which is the state and the county. I will put that they were in front of me, which is via physical presence, who was in front of me, the type of identification they provided, input all of my other notary information, stamp it, and we have to notarize this document and move on. Next, we have what's called your plan unit development rider. And basically this is just stating that the property that the loan is being taken out with is located in a subdivision, and it states what the name of the subdivision is. On this, it is 1, 2, 3 pages, and then on page 3, they have to sign the way that their name is listed. They have to date. There is nowhere for me to notarize on this document, so once that is completed, we'll move it to the side. Next, we have your compliance agreement. And on the compliance agreement, they have the errors and omissions section, the cooperation section, and the failure to comply can constitute a default on your loan section. And basically, this is just basically that they're agreeing to comply with these 3 sections. That of course the errors and omissions, that if any errors are found or anything has been omitted, they will help to correct those issues or add whatever has been omitted. The cooperation, that basically they're cooperating with the terms and conditions of the loan they've agreed to. And failure to comply basically explains itself, that if they become delinquent on the loan or miss a payment, they may be put in default. The signers need to sign and date where their name is listed and date it there. This does have to be notarized, so I'll input my venue information, I'll input my other information, sign it, stamp it, and we'll move on to the next document. The next document is the signature name affidavit. Basically, this lists all of the variations of names that they found, and if they agree with all of the variations of names, then they can sign and date. If they don't, then you can let them know. They can either handle the appropriate way that the instructions tell you to handle it, or based off of if they have any issues, of course you can contact the loan officer they've been dealing with regarding the transaction as well. Most of the time, everybody's fine with it, and they're like, okay, we're fine, we're good to go, and they'll sign it and we can move on. Once it is signed, this does have to be notarized, so I'll input my venue, my state, my county, I'll input my other information, I'll stamp it, and we'll move on. There is a signature name affidavit for each signer. Next, we have the correction agreement, limited power of attorney. Basically, just like with your errors and omissions, if any errors are found, they would help them to correct any issues. And if they agree to these terms, then each signer would sign and date based off of the information listed. This also needs to be notarized. I will put in my venue, I will put in my other information, I will stamp it, and we'll move on to the next information. Next, we have the U.S. Patriot Act, and like I stated in the beginning, the form for the U.S. Patriot Act, it asks for 2 forms of identification, and in the instructions, it did tell me when I first received the order for the signing, that to let the signers know that there were 2 forms of identification that was needed, so that way they were not blindsided when I got to, when I get to the table. So those 2 forms of identification, so they know about that. I'll input that information, I'll sign, date it, and then I'll put my information, print my name, and put my title down at the bottom. The signers don't need to sign this. The U.S. Patriot Act is just for you, the notary signing agent, to fill out and sign. Next, we have our early payoff cost rider. And basically this is just telling the signers that if they pay their loan off early, that there is a fee, and it provides the amount of fee that they would charge them to pay this off early. If they agree to these terms and conditions, then they need to sign and date as their name is listed at the bottom. Those are all the documents for my HELOC, and I hope that you were able to to get the information, and I hope that it was able to help you. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever done a HELOC before. Was it easy? Was it more than 44 pages? Was it less than 44 pages? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? And let me know what you guys think of these videos. I do have an upcoming refinance. If you would like for me to do a doc overview of the refinance documents, please let me know, and I'll do that doc overview as well. I like coming to you guys and helping you guys because it helps me, it helps me to help you. So until next time, happy stamping and signing, guys. Happy stamping and signing. You guys have a good night.